And now, the Rink Rap Podcast from Forever Blueshirts, talking all things New York Rangers hockey. Here's your host, Jim Cerny.
Welcome back to Rink Rap. I'm Jim Cerny. Really pleased to be joined by Katie Millian. She is the general manager of Team USA, the women's Olympic hockey team out in Milan right now. And as we're recording this, that opening puck drop is less than 24 hours away, but she's cool enough to spend a few minutes with us here. So thank you so much, Katie.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jim. Really excited to chat with you.
Yeah, we're excited to have you aboard and everything. And that's the lead up, right? You're less than 24 hours away from, that puck drop, tomorrow, getting it underway, the journey, it's been a long journey already. Then the journey officially begins when that puck drops tomorrow. But how do you handle that? How do you handle there must be a lot of emotions, and how well do you sleep before a
Yeah.
game like this, right? It's out of your hands now.
Yeah, totally. Well, you're right. It's been a journey. It's been a 4-year journey since we left the on the plane from Beijing 4 years ago. My next goal was this, and to be here in Milan and getting settled in, and for the puck to finally be dropping tomorrow. For me, it's all about excitement. We're ready. The team is confident. We feel good. I think, we're all just excited to get going, get this tournament rolling. It's excitement. It's not nerves, it's excitement.
You talk about confidence, plenty of reason to feel confident with the group that you've put together for sure. And I would think that the level of confidence, wow, when you see how well you all
Yeah.
performed, in the rivalry series, specifically, that
Yeah.
has to be a major boost going into the Olympics here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, we feel good. The players feel good. We're really it's a really tight knit group that we're bonded. It's if it I tell people this a lot. It's a feeling I can't describe, but the feeling is very, very good. We know that we've got a target on our back. We know that there's going to be teams gunning for us. We know that Canada is going to be coming out with all that they have, and we're going to have tough games ahead of us. But yeah, there is definitely confidence there. But we know we're going to have some good battles. And we start tomorrow with Czechia. Czechia is always
Yeah.
tough. And so we're going to be starting off with a tough game, and we know it's going to be tough. Again, we're ready for it. We've been working so hard for this moment.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you mentioned Czechia, and that's a good team and a good young
Really
team, a
good.
lot of talent. Here in New York, obviously, we know Klautin Kova so well.
Yep.
Um, but there's more than just her, but obviously she's the big young name there.
Yep.
This isn't just about United States and Canada anymore. I know
No.
everybody wants to say, oh, yeah, well, we know what the gold medal game's going to be, and it very well may be because that's kind of been the way it is. But boy, there are a lot of great players, a lot of great women players everywhere now. All these teams are representative. And
Yep.
obviously, you're shaking your head and you're saying, yeah, you're in agreement.
Totally. And I have to give credit to, yes, there's great players on every single team, but now with the Pro League and the PWHL
Yeah.
and a place for all those players to continue their playing careers, it's a game changer for women's hockey. And we are going to be seeing some of those teams like Czechia, Finland, Switzerland, Sweden. I mean, all of them, they're gonna continue to get better and better and raise the bar and really give us some battles. And that's what we want. We don't want to be in every gold medal game with Canada. We want to be in the gold medal game with another team. We really want it for women's hockey for it to be competitive.
Right. And I was going to talk, ask you about the PWHL later and
Yeah.
get your thoughts about it. But since, you brought it up,
Yep.
and what a game changer it is. Can you elaborate on that? And really, you've played a role here. You're one of the pioneers that have helped move this forward to the point of finally getting an established league and players that
Mhm.
can fill a league like that,
Yeah.
with great competition and what have you. So if you could just elaborate a little bit more on that, what it's like to be a part of that journey and
Yeah.
obviously to see the success now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's obviously it elongates a player's career. So now, they graduate from college, now they have a place to play. They can play for the next 10 years or 15 or 20 even. For it extends their careers. For us from a USA hockey perspective, it's really like beneficial for our players to have a place to go and have competitive training and games when they're not with us. So, now like this year, our pre-Olympic run was very different than it's ever been before.
Right.
So, in the past, we always had a centralization or a residency program where we got together starting in the fall and went through, lived together, trained together, ate together, all of it right up until we left for the Olympic Games. Well, this year we definitely did things differently, and I think it was amazing. It was just the right amount of time, but starting in August, we got together once a month for a week to 10 days. So in August, September, October, November, December, we got together for that time period and had our focused training, and then in November and December, our rivalry series with Canada. So we had really good competition to just test things out, right? And you mentioned the results earlier, and we're really pleased with where we ended up. But now going into the Olympic Games, it's a chapter turn and a new story, and we're ready to write that one.
Yeah. And I know it's hard to escape the Canada questions, the US Canada questions, but I was having this it wasn't an argument, it was a friendly conversation with some people. That they were all fired up, as am I, about the NHL players on the men's side,
Mhm.
being able to participate in the Olympics again.
Yep.
And they said, "Yeah, the greatest rivalry is USA Canada. We saw it in the Four Nations last year and everything." I'm like, what? I agree, it's awesome, but if you want to get the best, really the
Really.
best elongated history, like at this level, at the Olympic level, it's really hard to look past US Canada, correct? Yeah, on the
Oh,
women's side.
totally agree. And it's funny because we drop the puck and we are battling. It is a rivalry. We want to beat them so bad. But off the ice, away from the game, there's a lot of us, including myself, that are friends with, my counterpart, Gina Kingsbury, on Hockey Canada. We're great friends. A lot of the players are great friends. And now with the PWHL and them playing together, they're great friends. So it's interesting because it is our biggest rival and we hate each other once the puck drops. We like each other off the ice.
And there's something different, and maybe it's, listen, I don't want to go too deep into this, but maybe there's
Yeah.
something different between men and women. Like
Yeah.
when I started broadcasting games for Princeton in the
Hmm.
ECAC, I worked
Sure.
at the women's games there. I really it just to see and listen to the coaches and interview the coaches and hear what's important to them and what their approaches are with each individual player and how the players relate to one another and their opponents. It's, I've worked so long in the NHL. It was eye-opening to me how different it is. And I don't know that it's as simple as saying, uh, men and women, they're different, but the approach just seems different. And if you
Yeah.
agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your take on it.
I can't speak from experience because I've only been in the women's game, but what I can tell you is a lot of times I do hear coaches especially say that it is very different and the
Yeah.
women take things very literally. So if
Hmm.
you tell them to go stand in front of the net, they're going to go stand in front of the net. They're not going to move from it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I have heard that it is very different and where I guess, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or whatever that book was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also applies to hockey for sure.
So walk us through and it's different for every, executive.
Yep.
Walk us through when you pick up the phone or however you tell
Yeah.
somebody, congratulations, you're a 2026 Olympian. Let's go get it in Milan Cortina.
Mhm.
But tell me that, and also tell me the flip side of how difficult it is to
Yeah.
have to tell somebody, boy, you're right there, but you know, we're gonna go a different direction, keep
Yep.
working hard, yeah, whatever. Just walk us through both of those because that it must be elating on full of elation on one side and disappointment on the other.
Yeah, it definitely was, and, I don't know if you got to see any of the clips this year, but,
Yeah,
Dan Brennan from the Paralympic team, Billy Guerin from the men's team, and myself from the women's team, the 3 of us got together in the Wild offices on December 31st, and we all made those phone calls,
yeah,
um, not together, but together, at the Wild offices that day and got filmed, doing them. To your point, it was absolutely a thrill of a lifetime to be able to tell these players that they're going to the 2026 Olympic Games. One particular one that stands out for me is Hillary Knight. For me to have the
yeah,
honor of telling her she's going to her 5th Olympic Games, something no other
yeah,
US hockey player has ever done was, really special for me. I know it's special for her too. And that's just something that doesn't happen every day. So I take great pride in that. But to your point, there was 7 very sad phone calls that I had to make that day as well. And I can tell you it is the absolute worst part of the job to have to make
yeah,
those phone calls. Heartbreaking. I think one of the things that made it better for this particular case is several of those players are young and potentially will have a future and potentially will make an Olympic team someday, or the next one in 2030. So that made it a little bit easier to tell them that, hey, you keep working hard. You're still one of the top 30 players in our country. You still have an opportunity if you keep at this. So those horrible phone calls made that piece a little bit better. So um, uh, I tell everybody it was the most special day, but in some respects, the worst day.
yeah, yeah, and which isn't a surprise, but to hear from the person that actually has to do it, yeah, that's something completely different.
Yeah,
Um,
it's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. So when you make these decisions and when you have the bigger vision,
Mhm. Yep,
and not just the final decisions, but the bigger vision about putting a team
yep,
together, what and I know you have a lot of input there. It's not just your
yep,
final call. Well, it is your
100%.
final call, but there's a lot of input there.
Yep,
Um, tell me a little bit about what you were looking for, what you were looking for in building an
yep,
actual team to put this together because it's a pretty cool mix. You have the Hillary Knights and the
yep,
Schofields and all that
yep,
that people have heard about for years. But you've got what is it, 5, 6, college kids, on
yep,
this team,
yep,
right? So
yep.
so tell us about that as well and the building process.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, we didn't really necessarily look at younger players versus older players. We wanted the
Right.
best players, right? So it didn't matter if they were in college or if they were, veterans like Hillary. We wanted the best players that we could possibly find in our country to fulfill the roles that we need them to. So it just ironically kind of happened that, we have 7 players on our team who are still in the NCAA this year,
Yeah.
and, have a very bright future, not only this Olympics, but future Olympics. So we're excited about that, and we feel like having having that mixture only sets us up for success in the future. So we're super excited about that, but really it was more about the right players for the right roles. Obviously, we want to be fast, we want to be strong and physical and have great shooters and
Yeah.
I told someone just yesterday I feel like we have entire team of MVPs. Anybody could take it this year. Anybody could take that MVP title this year because every single person on our team is an MVP. And so again, it was really more about what roles could they fill and how they're going to fill them. And we're pretty confident we did a great job at that.
I wonder if you had any conversations with Billy Guerin about, roster building, because this poor guy has taken more questions about who isn't on the team right now than who's
Yeah.
on the men's team right now. I
Well,
mean, that's
my heart goes out to Billy a little bit because and we didn't talk a lot about roster building, but I have the advantage of, having these rivalry series and having touch
yeah,
points with my players a ton more over the past 4 years than they did. Obviously, the Four Nations was a great precursor and a great look at what a Team USA for the men's might look like. So I think that, our process is very different.
yeah.
And we had again the opportunity to see players and mix them up and put them on lines together where these guys are really speculating.
Right. Katie, thanks so much for the time today. And I really wish you all the best. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd be pretty fired up if I see USA Canada in the gold medal game, as much as we said, oh, it could be anybody.
Right, right.
It'd be really, especially like, as you mentioned, for Hillary and,
Yeah.
Marie Philip Poulin on the other side,
Yep.
to see them, you know what, that'd be cool to see them one more time, at this
Yep.
stage, go head to head. But that
Yeah.
said, wish you the best of luck no matter what. I know
Thank you.
this is really, really important and big time for you and for USA hockey and for all the women there. And um, try and soak up every second of it. Enjoy it all.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it and fun conversation. And I hope that in the end it is us in Canada and Hillary Knight is going out on her horse with a gold medal around her neck.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. And I can pause the recording
Yeah.
here. Yeah, when he comes in. That was really great. Thank you so much.
Oh
And I
my
know you've
gosh.
got
Yeah.
so much on your plate right now. So to take, 15, 20 minutes out of your day, I appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Thank you so much, Jim.